Hello, Glamazons, it's me. This is just, I guess, an update video. Hope you all had a great weekend. I did. It's a very nice weekend. And, so yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy my days before an upcoming medical procedure. If you guys don't know, I've been having a lot of medical issues. Since last year, it's been a year. Can you believe that? And I guess I'm just gonna go into it in this video. Where do I start? Okay, so it's not good to worry. It's not good to have a lot of pent up emotions, especially negative emotions, because those things really do manifest into actual physical things. Like when you stress out, your body starts producing chemicals and hormones and stuff that's actually quite toxic to your body. Um, so if you don't know about it, look into it and research it. And so, long story short, I've been going through a lot of stress stemming back since 2008, really. But 2011, things started getting really rough. Like I said, I was ditched by the man that had me thinking we were going to marry each other. Just left cold turkey. And so that wasn't traumatic enough. Because I tell you, I really sat there day and night waiting for him to come back. Because I really thought he would. Every day it got harder and harder. I thought, okay, he's coming back. He's coming back. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'm waiting for messages or something. Thinking, okay, no, he wouldn't do this to me. No, he would never. I'll wait. I'm waiting, and next thing you know, a week goes by, months go by, a year goes by, nothing. And so you realize he's not coming back. And that was devastating for me. And then 2012 came. Bunch of shit happened, including a job loss and just you name it. Parents divorcing, drama with his new bitch, things getting stolen from me, financial problems. If any of you read tarot, it was the tower. It was the tower. Everything came crashing down for me. Also in 2012, I got food poisoning. And it was the first time I ever had to go to a hospital. And okay, so what happened was I got food poisoning, which it was a very suspicious circumstance because I was the only one that got poisoned. Out of me, my father, and his side chick, I was the only one that got poisoned. Like, poisoned. But anyway, whatever. You don't have to be stupid to put two and two together there. And if you guys have subscribed to me, you've seen videos from back in the past around that time, so I don't have to go into detail about why that was suspicious and all that other stuff. So anyway, I was turning green, and so I went to the emergency room, this horrible hospital, and, they had me laying there for hours with an IV pumped into me. And so this doctor, who's actually really cute, came over to me, touches my stomach, and he goes, "Oh, you're getting better, just go home." And I was just like, really? Okay, so I went home. They slapped me with a $3,000 bill. A $3,000 medical bill just for me to lay there with an IV and then get told to go home. $3,000. I didn't have medical insurance. I was just like, what? And then, so anyway, fast forward to around this time last year, I had just lost my job out of the blue. My boss was on vacation in Israel, and I get a phone call from my coworker telling me, "Oh, the boss called. He said it's nothing personal, but we're not making enough money, can't afford to keep you, so sorry, you don't need to come back when the break is over." It was like a Jewish holiday or whatever. And I was just like, what? I was on my way to visit my grandmother who has developed dementia, which, as if that's not hard enough. She was in a nursing home with developed dementia. That's rough. And then I get a phone call saying that, hey, your source of income is... And then that my boss didn't even have the balls to call me himself. You know, he couldn't wait till he got back and told me face to face. And then he had someone else do it. Like, I thought it was so tacky. And then so I'm freaking out, like, okay, family drama's going on. The man who swore he loved me and had my back fucking ditched me cold turkey. Now I've lost my job. All this other family drama's going on. Then, he doesn't give me my last paycheck. He never paid me for those 3 weeks I went without pay. Never paid me. So, totally got ripped off. And then, so what happened was, I was on my way to a job interview. And, you know, I went through the job interview and everything was fine. I was just like, yay, okay, I'm thinking I got the job. And it took a while, and it was way out in Queens somewhere. So I was done with the interview, and I was really hungry. I hadn't eaten all day, so I ducked into a place and got something to eat. I ate, and I came home. And it was a 2-hour commute. Like, this place was way out there in Queens. So when I got home, all of a sudden, I didn't feel so well. You know, I started having backaches, and I never have backaches, so I was just like, what's going on? Then the next thing you know, I just start vomiting violently. And then I thought to myself, oh no, you know, here we go again, food poisoning again. It was a complete symptoms of food poisoning. And so I was thinking, I'm not going to the hospital just so they can bill me $3,000 again. You know, that's not going to happen. I'm not doing it. So for days and days, I thought I had food poisoning. The classic symptoms, I'm not going to go into, like, gross details, you know. If you've ever had food poisoning, you know how gross it is. You know, I had this intense abdominal pain, and then it felt like my insides were just on fire. And so, long story short, without going into details, I didn't go to the emergency room until 12 days later. Now, mind you, I thought I had food poisoning, and my mom had me in the supermarkets. You know, she had me taking antacids. Like, you know, I was walking around Brooklyn like I just had food poisoning, that's all. And I actually walked into the emergency room, but I was crying, I was a mess. And I actually took a shower before I went to the emergency room. Like, this will all make sense later. So I actually took a shower before I went to the emergency room, because I was like, I'm not going to go out the house smelling like sickness, you know what I mean? So, I got to the emergency room. It was crazy. They admitted me right away because something was very wrong. You know, I hadn't eaten for a month because nothing would stay down. And, you know, it got to the point where I was vomiting water. Water wouldn't even stay down. So I said, okay, I gotta go to the emergency room, you know what I mean? They admitted me right away. And, you know, the doctors are touching me, and like I said, it felt like my whole entire abdomen was on fire. So I'm screaming and crying. And the doctors were freaked out. And all of a sudden, they just disappeared. And I knew something was wrong when all the doctors disappeared for a while and didn't come back. Like, they had, like, an emergency meeting. And then someone comes back, and I'm like, okay, you know, am I going home? Do I have a tapeworm or something? And he gave me this look. And he was just like, no, you're not going home for a while. And I was just like, what's wrong? Turns out, my appendix had been ruptured. And like I said, when I thought I had food poisoning, it wasn't. My appendix had ruptured and I didn't know. And so for those 12 days, I had a ruptured appendix. All that poison was streaming throughout my whole body. Basically, the appendix did what it was supposed to do. It held all of those negative emotions. It absorbed all those toxins, and I guess I was so sad. I was so stressed out. I was so heartbroken. It couldn't take it anymore, and it ruptured. It just couldn't hold all the pain anymore, and it ruptured. So when I was in the emergency room, my whole body was septic. I didn't know. They didn't want to tell me. They didn't want to scare my father who went with me. They didn't want to scare him. They kept trying not to tell him certain things. But basically, I was at death's door. And the doctor said if I would have waited 48 more hours, I would have died. And in fact, my survival rate was at 25%. and I was so sick that they couldn't operate on me. They couldn't. They said if they would have cut me open, I would have died. So they didn't know what to do. I was freezing cold. The nurses were kind of scared. They're like, "This girl's too young to die." But yeah, I was icy cold, and it's crazy because like at 20 something, you don't think you're gonna have a near death experience, and it was weird. Like my body was so cold, and after a while, I just stopped being scared. Like after there comes a point where your body just gives up, and your soul's just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna leave." And I felt like I was getting to that point. I was dying. I was dying. And you know what though? It taught me that death isn't scary. It isn't. It's actually quite peaceful, because I just started to slip away. I was just like, you know what? Okay, like something inside of you knows that you're gonna be okay, and that death kind of isn't the end. I was just lying there thinking, you know what? I don't have a reason to hold on. I don't, and I'm in so much pain. I'm just gonna go. Like, you know, I'm gonna go. There's gotta be something better out there. You know, there's gotta be someplace better than this. So this piece of hair, anyway. So I let go, and I slipped out of consciousness. And I tell you what, if you ever watch those medical TV shows where the doctor slaps the shit out of someone who's unresponsive, it's real. Like, I thought that was fake. It's not, because when I started slipping, that doctor slapped the shit out of me. That brought me back really quick. I mean, he was like, because I was unresponsive, like they were calling me, I was gone. You know, he slapped the shit out of me. That brought me back. My eyes shot open like, did you just fucking hit me? So yeah, they admitted me to the emergency room. They were trying to run all these emergency tests. I had a fever of 103 degrees. That one nurse was terrible. I'm lying there sweating my brains out, and she's like eating a sandwich. I'm like, lady, excuse me. It took me like 15 minutes. I'm like, I think I have a fever. You know, this is West Indian chick, you know what I mean? I'm like, excuse me, I think I have a fever. And so she takes my temperature. She's, oh my god, this girl has a fever of 103. And they all come rushing over. I'm like, no shit. You know, but whatever. Long story short, I didn't get out of the hospital for 2 weeks. I was strapped to a bed. I was immobile. It was one of the most humbling yet worst traumatic experiences in my life. You know, I've had perfect health. The only thing I've ever had was a fractured bone when I was a kid. You know, I don't have allergies, I don't have asthma or anything like that. I'm not on any medications, so I've never had a health problem. So to go from that to being totally incapacitated was very traumatic for me. I didn't have insurance either. And so, you know, the hospitals are a business, whether you like to know it or not. And, you know, I had procedures done without anesthesia because I didn't have insurance. That shit was painful. You know, I had numbing agent where they just kind of numb the area. You still feel it. You still feel it. They had to go inside my body. What happened was, like I said, the appendix ruptured. And, I'm telling you guys this because maybe I can help save somebody else. Because some people, when their appendix ruptures, they drop dead. I have a superhuman immune system. Like, the doctors keep samples of my blood and stuff, and medical students still study my case. Like, they worship the ground I walk on. They don't think I'm human, but you know, if you have abdominal pain, go to the hospital. Especially if it's more than 24 hours, just go to the hospital. You never know. Better safe than sorry. Because most people, 75% of people who were in my situation would have been dead, no matter what their age. So, you know, that's why I'm telling you guys this. And because if I vanish for a while, you guys will know where I went. Because my procedure's coming up. But yeah, my body took the toxins and tried to seal it off and stop it from spreading throughout my whole body. I have an impeccable immune system. And so inside of me was a giant, where 3 giant pockets of pus that my body had walled off in my cavities. And that saved my life. The fact that my body formed a cocoon on the inside to stop the poison from spreading is what saved my life. But unfortunately, it came with consequences because those abscesses that formed, while they saved my life, they formed in my pelvic regions, and it ate away parts of my intestines and my reproductive organs. So, while I was in the hospital for all those weeks, I had to find out that I may not be able to have children now. And that wouldn't have hurt me in the past because I never really thought I wanted children. I never was a kid person, I guess. But like I said, I met Phil. Phil changed all that. I thought, having kids became something that I wanted, but only with him. It was something that I really wanted. Now, he was gone anyway, and he wasn't there to help me or support me through that tragic time in my life. He didn't have my back at all. But then to find out that now you can't have kids, there's a chance. As a woman, it's terrible. It's terrible. And they say there's a chance, maybe. I would probably maybe have to do in vitro. Have a test tube baby or something like that. Or if I ever were to get pregnant, I would have to really be monitored closely because they don't know if I could carry it to term or whatever. It's complicated. They still don't know what's going on in there, and that's this procedure. They're going to cut me open and finally find out. It took a year for them to finally be able to cut me open and take a look at the damage. I feel it. I'm in pain a lot. My insides are shot. My colon is shot. It's never been the same. I can feel that my insides have rotted out. And even now with the surgery, they already told me the risk. If when they cut me open, they see too much scar tissue, they're going to have to abort the procedure, and I'm just going to have to live with the pain, because the only other option would be they would have to remove a chunk of my intestines, and I would have to have, excuse me, I forget the proper term, but I would have to have one of those poop bags, people have excrement come out in a pouch on the side of their body, like some of the old people have. I forget what you call those bags, but I would have to have that. And they said I'm too young for that. They wouldn't want to do that to me, so it would just be better for me to live with the pain than to have that, So I won't know anything until my procedure. I won't know they don't know what they're going to see until they cut me open. One of my ovaries ruptured. My fallopian tubes might be clogged. My uterus and my intestines all have damage. But I guess it was a necessary evil because, like I said, it saved my life. So, but honestly, I'm just going to be real with you guys. While I was laying in that hospital bed in pain and all that morphine, I hate morphine. I never want to take that drug again. It was so bad. Like, I'm telling you this, I told myself when I walked into the hospital, I said, I'm going to walk out of here. Just like I walked in here, I'm going to walk out. And, I didn't. I couldn't. 2 weeks later, I had to be wheeled out. I was that weak. I had lost like 30 pounds because I wasn't able to eat for a month. Nothing would stay down. Even after the procedures, vomiting. I lived off of cranberry juice and water and ice and medication. My diet was morphine, cranberry juice, and water. and antibiotics. That was my life for a month. And I'm telling you, I had to be wheeled out of the hospital, and when I came out of the hospital, I had the shakes, just like a junkie, going through morphine withdrawal. And that drug is so terrible. It gives you migraines. It's a horrible drug. I would never... Morphine's terrible. And they prescribed me Augmentin, which if you are on that medication, I feel so bad for you. That medication is so horrible. It makes your entire body itch. You break out in rashes. It sends you to the bathroom. It's almost worse than whatever you're taking it for. Like, my body was so pumped full of antibiotics for a month. For 7 weeks, I was pumped full of antibiotics. Different kinds. Because it turns out whatever was in there was very rare. They asked me if I had traveled out of the country. And I was just like, no, even though, I have a passport. But no, I didn't. And, it was just very strange circumstances, but, so yeah, a year later, I'm still going through it. I'm not out of the woods yet. And it sucks when you don't have that support. But, on the positive note, I have to say the doctors at this hospital where I go to now, to receive my medical care, they are phenomenal people. They really are. They are just the sweetest, kindest people, and they really care. Like, my primary doctor, I wish that everyone could have him as a doctor. He's so wonderful. And this man is so dedicated. Like, he loves his career. This man was losing sleep over my case. He kept telling me, like, he would come into my room, my hospital room in the ICU. I was in intensive care. Like I said, strapped down to a bed, hooked up to all these machines. And this was during Hurricane Sandy. And you know what's funny? I'm strapped to a bed in the middle of Hurricane Sandy with a little tiny TV in my hospital room. I can't move, and the news was on. I can't turn the channel. All I could think about was Phil and his boat and hoping that he was okay because I was scared shitless because of New Jersey. That's what I was thinking about when I was strapped to a hospital bed in the intensive care unit, hooked up to machines that would go off if I stopped breathing or when my heart would start acting funny. I was thinking about him when my life was flashing before my eyes. And so if that's not love, I don't know what is. And you know what got me through it was actually I wanted to still be here for my sister. You know? And that's the only thing that kept me here was you have to have the will to live. You do. Because if you want to die, you can. You have that option to let go. Because like I said, when I was in the emergency room, my first choice was to just let go. And just say, you know what, fuck it, I'm out of here, I don't want to deal with it. Because you know in your heart and in your soul, you know that if you choose to stay, you're going to have to fight like hell. And that is going to be a lot of pain and a lot of drama. You know it. But I stayed for her. And I stayed for him because I thought, well, what if I do see him one day? I want to know that he's okay. You know, I wanted to know that he was alright. You know, there was a hurricane going on and I wanted to be there for them. So that's why I stuck around. But prayers to anyone in the hospital. I know what it's like. I know what it's like. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But yeah, my doctors are wonderful, and my doctor would come into my room and he would say, he had lost sleep. He was saying he took my case home. He's like, he's not going to rest until he finds out this particular strain of the... I had an F strain something. He figured it out. Like, he went and did research. That doctor, my doctor, was all over it. And then, you know, he was wonderful. So he figured out what drugs to give me because my immune system was so hyper that they thought I had AIDS. Like, these doctors were just puzzled. They didn't know what was wrong with me. They couldn't believe that all of this had happened from a ruptured appendix. And it did. They were testing me for AIDS. They were testing me for lupus. They were testing me for all sorts of STDs. I have medical tests up the butt, like, so if anyone ever wanted to see my medical record, they can see I'm clean from everything. I don't have anything. Because they tested me for everything in the book, so I don't have anything. I'm completely clean. I don't have high blood pressure, I don't have diabetes, I don't have any STDs, I don't have anything. I'm completely clean. But I knew that because I'm not out here sexing anybody, and I wasn't born with anything, so I knew I was clean. And I wasn't sexing anybody because I was saving myself for Phil. You know, that's a whole nother video, I guess. But I was saving myself for him. And he knew this, and it meant a lot to him, so he said, but I guess he lied about that too. But yeah, so they tested me for everything in the book, and they didn't believe me. Like, they thought I had like some sort of nasty venereal disease because, like I said, the pelvic collection, it was all in the pelvic region. So they thought, oh, this dirty hoe came in with some new disease, and I kept saying, no, it's not like that. I've never had sex. I'm not that kind of girl. I don't do drugs. And they were just like, yeah, right. Until they ran all the tests and they took a look down there and they were just like, oh shit, she's for real. She's a unicorn. Is that what they call it? They were just like, oh shit, she's for real. I'm like, I am Christian. Yeah, I curse, but I still have some values. I'm legendary at that hospital. Like, my doctor treats me with so much respect because he thinks I'm like this little angel. He thinks I'm an angel. He's just like, you're the only unicorn in all of Brooklyn. I was just like, please don't rub that in my face. But yeah, he thinks I'm an angel. I think he's an angel. He figured out what to do, what recipe to save my life. And then there's the other doctor, I love this doctor, my Dr. H. He's not my primary doctor because he's not that kind of doctor. He's a interventional radiologist. He's the man that physically saved my life. Like, the procedure and draining all that toxicity out of my body. They had to stick a device into my body, and I had the device in for 2 weeks. And it was physically pulling out all the gook and toxins out of my body. It was every color of the rainbow, too. And I also know what it's like to have a catheter inserted. And that sounds like old people shit. It's horrible. It's really, really horrible to have a catheter inserted. And so when I was strapped to a bed for a long time, unable to move, I was strapped to a bed. Like, a catheter takes out your urine. So, no, not even getting up to go to the bathroom to pee. Everything was automatically done for me. Again, you can Google a catheter and read about it. I'm not going to go into the details. I had to have a nurse brush my teeth for me, wash my body. It was humiliating but humbling. And nurses are angels. God bless them. They really are. Those people work so hard. They work so hard, and they're really angels. Like, some of them were losing everything during Hurricane Sandy. Like, one nurse had lost her house. One nurse was crying, because her favorite tree had been destroyed. Like, it was like a memorial tree or something. So some dead relative got torn up during the storm. They were all still coming in anyway. My hospital has the most dedicated nurses and doctors. They were dedicated. And a lot of them don't even live in Brooklyn. A lot of them are living in, like, Jersey or, like, Yonkers and stuff like that. And they were coming in anyway, couldn't get gas. They were still bicycling to work. Some of them were sleeping in the hospital. They didn't leave my side. No, I didn't have my man, the person who claimed they loved me and had my back. He wasn't there to hold my hand. I'm sure he was more concerned about his boat. The doctors, Dr. H was there holding my hand. I was like, oh, you don't cry. And it was like, there were a lot of tears. It hurt like hell. I screamed when they shoved that catheter inside of me. I screamed. That shit hurt, and I bled. It hurt. And, but yeah, the doctors and stuff were so wonderful. So wonderful. It makes all the difference in the world when doctors are actually kind and caring. They actually have a soul. They don't just look at you, write down stuff, and walk away. They're beautiful people, and like I said, I get my regular care there now too, because there was no point in going to a clinic when I still needed CAT scans and things like that. So I'm like, I might as well just have my doctor's care at the hospital. That way I don't have to go to different places and get referrals and all that kind of stuff. And I don't live that far from the hospital anyway. It's only like 15-20 minutes away from me. So yeah, I've all year it's just been doctor's appointment after doctor's appointment, issue after issue, because like I said, my insides are terrible. Like if I eat, you can hear a bunch of noises coming from my abdomen. Certain times a month I get middle smirts now. Google it. It means middle pain in German. My ovaries developed cysts and stuff. I have a ruptured ovary. It's just because that poison attacked my reproductive organs in my lower intestines. It's just issues. And so now I'm having corrective surgery. Well, I'm having a laparoscopic something. I'm gonna have to go under anesthesia, which is a first for me. But you know what? I told myself if I could handle all those medical procedures where I didn't get anesthesia, I'm just not even gonna be scared. I don't need someone to hold my hand anymore. I toughened up, you know? It's just like, suck it up, chick, and just do what you gotta do. No one's gonna be there to hold your hand. No one's gonna be there to comfort you. Just do what you gotta do. That's what I tell myself. I just do it. Just do it, like Nike. Just do it. Not relying on anybody else. I will get myself there, and I'll just do what I gotta do. No more sentimental shit. I don't need it. I'll be strong on my own, which is what I've been doing. In life, you're not always gonna have a shoulder to cry on. You're just not. There'll be moments where you just have to go through it alone, like I did. And so, yeah, they're gonna put me under anesthesia, and they're gonna go in and see what's going on, and depending on what they see, then there's either gonna be a procedure or there's not. I can't eat for 3 days before the procedure. I can't take any over-the-counter medications a week before. My procedure is very early in the morning. I don't know if I'm going to have to be hospitalized and all that kind of stuff yet. It all depends on what they see when they cut me open. And that's not even looking into my female organs to see if my tubes are blocked and all that kind of stuff. That's something I don't want to know right now. I can't right now. I can't deal with it right now. You know what? I don't have a husband anyway, so I'm not gonna stress or worry about my tubes and uterus. It would be nice to not have pain anymore, but if I'm gonna have to just have the pain, then I'm gonna have to have it. You know, it was so bad that I couldn't even get out of bed. But whatever. I'll just deal with it. You just gotta roll with the punches in life. That's what I learned. I'm still here. So, I guess God has a plan and purpose for me. Still here. So, I'm just gonna trust and believe that there's a reason why. And then if I can't have kids, then it just wasn't meant to be. You know, a lot of things just weren't meant to be, even though I thought they were. They weren't. So, but yeah. That's what's going on with me medically. But like I said, the good part in all of this is that, I'm having some pain in my side right now. Is that I met some wonderful, wonderful people who are amazing. There's nurses and doctors, everyone in the hospital, from the maintenance people to the greeting people to the prayer people. There were people there praying. There was an older lady who was praying for me. That woman was praying. I mean, you know, some people just pray with that conviction. She did. And there was an old Irish man who came out of the blue and came to me. He knew my name and everything, and he prayed for me. And he had the most beautiful voice, like just sounded like an angel. It was a soft, beautiful Irish voice, and I was just like, what? You know, he never said his name. Like, I don't know where he came from. He came out of nowhere. It's like I looked up and there he was. I saw him twice. And the second time he came back, he said he had been looking for me. And he had like these intense blue eyes. And he's like older. He had to be like in his 60s or 70s. And very tall, white hair, porcelain skin, blue eyes, and he held my hand and he prayed for me. And I thought that was so weird, you know? I had a couple of weird stories and funny stories and crazy stories while I was in that hospital. My life is not normal, people. It's just not. But yeah, that was interesting. You know, maybe he was an angel. I don't know. Just like when I was laying there, like I told you guys, I was septic. Google it. Learn the medical terms. Google it. My body was septic. I was experiencing septic shock. And so I was hooked up to all these tubes and machines and everything, and in intensive care. This strange woman came into my room and was like, flu shot? She didn't say who she was. She didn't have on a doctor's gown. She wasn't a nurse. And she's like, oh, you want a flu shot? And I couldn't barely move, but I could talk. And I was like, no. I said, I think my body's going through enough right now. I think the last thing I need is a flu shot. She walked out. Never came back. And I said, oh, maybe some other time when I'm better. That was suspect because you know what? If someone's septic, first of all, if someone's in the intensive care unit, that means they're in intensive care. They could die. Their body's going through something. Why the hell would you try to give someone a vaccine to introduce more viruses or toxins into their body? I really think if I would have taken that shot, it would have killed me. And like I said, I never saw that woman again. She wasn't a doctor. She wasn't a nurse. And I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, you know what I mean? Was she trying to kill me? Like, what the hell? Like, here I am septic. You know, they're trying to lower my white blood cell count. They're trying to get my body to bounce back. And you're in here talking about a flu shot? You're in here trying to give me flu virus when I'm already fighting for my life? I thought that was very, very strange. And I'm so glad I didn't take it. That would have killed me. I just know it. My intuition is telling me that would have killed me if I would have taken that shot. And like I said, she didn't have on any ID. She wasn't a nurse. She wasn't a doctor. And I never saw her again. And nobody else ever offered me a flu shot or anything like that. They came around a couple times like, oh, have you been tested for HIV? You know, that type of shit. And I was like, yeah, test me. I don't care. Because I know I don't have it. Test me. Where would I get AIDS from? Unless I'm going to get AIDS from like a cupcake. You know, test me. So they tested me. I'm like, duh, I don't have anything. But yeah, that was weird. I have a lot of stories from my hospital stay. But anyway, that's it. I just want to let you guys know what's going on and what happened. I figure maybe this information will help somebody else. I don't know. Maybe I just needed to vent. I don't know. I held back the tears as much as I could. You know, at least I didn't come on here bawling. Because I made a video about this before and I just started bawling. So I deleted it and I never uploaded it. But this one I will upload. I will. I'll just stay strong. I'm not on here asking for prayers or anything like that. I'm just taking it one day at a time, really. And trying to enjoy every day that I can enjoy, really. And so I mean it when I say to hell with fake people, to hell with liars, to hell with... A life or death experience changes your life. It does. You start realizing what matters and what doesn't. All of a sudden, empty promises really don't mean shit anymore, you know? A lot of things stop mattering once you think you're almost gonna die. Yeah. Anywho, that's it. I have laundry to put away, and I guess that's gonna be it for today. I really did want to make another video, but I totally forgot what I was going to talk about. But that's okay. I'm pretty sure I'll remember. I have to start writing this stuff down. Seriously. But anyway, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Take care and subscribe.